a list of famines. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. And I'm merely lambacking off of the video that I just put up dealing with is a famine coming here. And I just got finished watching. I didn't watch the rest of it. I watched maybe about 10-15 minutes of it, of a video that was put up by Remnant Say 144, which the speaker was elder, head elder of GMS Dallas, and he showed part of a video that was put up by this guy. What is this guy? Something for rebellion. Matter of fact, give me a second here. Give me a second. I think it's called for an uprising, which the guy looks like and sounds like an Edomite, but he could be Jake. Anyway, I typed in list of famines, and it gave me a bunch. I mean, I'm going to just scroll down. And most of these famines were on the lower class people, and a lot of them rose up against the authorities. That's the fulfillment of Second Ezra's, the 15th chapter. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and their power shall be on their side. I'm just merely paraphrasing. I was just going through it anyway. As a matter of fact, let me do this. If I can find it. I did have it up. Okay, right here. Second Ezra 15, verse 15. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Modern day swords is a gun. For there shall be sedition among men. And sedition merely means a call to come against the government bodies, the leaders of the government. You know, people don't trust the system. They don't trust the election system. When anybody that goes out to vote, you're just stupid. If you haven't figured out it's a two-headed one-party system, and these people are selected and not elected or voted to go into office. You see, a lot of you people are just stupid, especially you bird-brained, backward-ass, monkey-minded Negroes in the Latin tribes. You don't know what's going on. You know, it's just business as usual. 16 verse, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings. What does it mean by their kings? Their leaders. Biden is considered a king. Oh no, he's not. He's a president. He's a king, you dumb fuck. This guy Trump was a king. He's trying to get back on the throne. And we teach that he's and we strongly believe that he's Nero Caesar. Nero Caesar was a hellraiser. It says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. I quoted it a little bit wrong off, but that's the actual the precept. It said, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Whose power? The people's power. And this is going on all around the world. it also speaks of uproars of the people. That's going on all over the world. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. I was doing deliveries way upstate, and I believe it was a Walmart. It was a big like shopping center, but the anchor store was a Walmart, and I noticed there was I don't know, maybe 5 or 6. What do you call those? The campers, big campers, and they had shades on the windows, which mean that they living. That's their houses, but I guess they have a deal with Walmart that they can park in their parking lot, all day. So that's where you got a lot of so-called Americans living in campers. And then you got people that are straight up living under bridges. You got people straight up living under bridges in cardboard boxes, man. And they say that this is the greatest, richest country on the planet. You got thousands of billionaires. It says when Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So who's bearing rule in America, around the world? Esau. His time is up. He's about to go down. And I'm going to get on you guys that are lollygagging and bullshitting and thinking this is a goddamn game. This ain't the Mickey Mouse Club. You're supposed to be on fire. You're supposed to be on the highways and the byways. And it's obvious, the ones of you that came into this thing on fire and you're lukewarm and you're cold, and a lot of you fell off, is because you lack faith. Pursuant to Hebrews 4. Verse. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. There was a thing on the news the other day, I believe it was Sunday. I was out there trying to make some shekels, and I'm listening to this story of and I knew he was a Jake. He was a motherfucker. He was a Jake, a ninja. He was on a train, and they said it was Philadelphia. He was on a train, and he sat down next to a chick that he didn't know. She didn't know him. He didn't know her. And he was trying to, talk to her, and she pretty much wasn't having it. And that's a new thing with Jake. If Jake is, Jake is aggressive. Nowadays, what they'll do is they'll talk to a chick. They don't get a number or a feedback. He'll get aggressive with the girl, man. Well, anyway, on the train, you had other people on the train. He decided to rape her on the train around other people in broad daylight. So he actually rips her clothes off and proceeds to rape this woman, and nobody helped. Oh, and they said the surveillance cameras showed people pulling out their smartphones and filming the act. Now, them a bunch of niggas, man. They're a bunch of niggas. These niggas gotta go. These niggas gotta go. And they are gonna go. But meanwhile, you have these men that became Israelites and proclaim themselves being prophets and have gotten weak and have became lukewarm and cold. And you still got a bunch of camps teaching against what we're teaching about the MOTB. And now 10 years ago, it wasn't crystal clear. Right now, it's crystal clear, man. If you can't see that the MOTB is in apocalyptos threses, then the Most High blinded you. Pursuant to Isaiah the 6th chapter. There's a famine coming. Let me come back over here. A list of famines, right? List of famines. And I'm just going to scroll down. Okay, this right here caught my eye. 1875 to 875 to 875 to 884. Peasant rebellion in China inspired by famine, meaning they wanted to eat, so they said we're gonna take this motherfucker down. Huan Chao. When I heard that name, I thought about the movie The Chinese Connection, which originally was called The Fist of Fury, and the teacher that got killed that Bruce Lee took the revenge out on. That was another Huyan Chao, which they made a movie called, I believe it was called Fearless, where this Moabite played by a Jet Li was fighting all these different people. That's supposed to be Huyan Chao. Anyway, this is a different Huyan Chao. It says peasant rebellion in China inspired by famine. You know, not being able to eat make you do some pretty, unheard of things, man. It says Huyan Chao captured capital. So I'm going to look up the word peasant, which we all should know what peasant means. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me do this. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. I just want to look up the word peasant. Okay, peasant meaning. Peasant, a poor farmer of low social status who owns or rents a small piece of land for cultivation, chiefly in historical use of or with reference to subsistence farming in poorer countries. Peasants left the farm to work in industry, and that was the Industrial Revolution. Let's say the third Industrial Revolution was all about the great, what was that called? The Great Leap Forward in Japan and China, when they killed millions of the Moabites, Chinese, because they wanted to be farmers, and they said, nope, you got to work in industry. So they killed them off. There's a list on Google called a history. I think if you put in a list of rebellions or a list of a history of rebellions, and that list is long, and rebellions always took place with the lower classes, the poor, the lower middle class. They just lost it, man. And this took place all over the world. At various times in history. As you can see. You know, we're at the end of this thing. We're at the door. For our salvation is nearer than when we believed. There's a famine called the Skull famine in India. Look at that. Look at this list. Oh, famine in Cape Verde. And Israelites live in Cape Verde. You have a big community of Cape Verdean people up there in Mass. The Boston area, the Rhode Island. And that's an island, I believe it's off of the east coast of Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Another famine in China, another famine in Cape Verde. A Soviet famine of 1932 to 1933, 1 year including famine in Ukraine, caused by deliberate Soviet collectivization of scarce food resources. So they stop the people from eating so the farmers can get off the farm and work in industry and work under the government. You know, they're pushing this jab thing, and now they're gonna starve you. They're gonna starve them. They're not gonna have a Merry Christmas. 1940 to 1945 famine in Warsaw Ghetto. That's in Poland. Got a lot of Jakes that live in Poland. Famine in Morocco. Famines all over the world. And it looks like a famine is heading this away. Most High willing, I'll go into precepts dealing with famine and the effects of famine. A famine causes you to eat your children. That's what happened a couple of times in the history of Israel, but the last major time was during the time of the siege of the Roman authorities, led by Titus. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say Shalom.